welcome to the short presentation on temperature screening. My name is Chris Leonard. I work for AMETEK Land. Quick introduction on the topics we're going to cover today. We're going to cover an introduction to AMETEK Land, various temperature screening methods, choosing a suitable temperature screening technology, limitations of thermal imagers. We're going to look a little further into handheld thermometers for temperature screening, and also crowd scanning images, and then finally rounding up looking at the gold standard for temperature screening, the Viral Alert temperature screening system. So a little bit of an introduction to AMETEK Land for anybody that is not familiar. The company has been trading since 1947 and has led the development in high accuracy temperature measurement equipment. We're the pioneers of temperature screening systems that helped combat the original SARS outbreak in 2002, and we were the original patent holders of in-scene calibration, which is now recognised as the gold standard in temperature screening measurement and is incorporated into guidance such as that from the FDA. We've got over 1,000 systems installed worldwide, and we're setting the standard again with best practice with a seasonal trending feature, which I'll cover a little later in this presentation. So we're all too familiar with COVID-19, a major challenge for economies to remain open. Along with social distancing, hand hygiene, face coverings, temperature screening can play a vital part in helping businesses and institutions stay open safely. This presentation showcases the latest development in infrared temperature screening solution from the experts at AMETEK Land. Temperature screening methods. There are a variety of different methods of measuring a human body temperature. They have different ease of use, accuracy and practicality. For instance, rectal temperature readings give an accurate measurement of core body temperature, but this is not exactly practical or ideal for encouraging staff and visitors to return. Certified and calibrated tympanic in-ear medical thermometers also offer accurate measurement of body temperature, and we'd recommend these as a secondary final check should a temperature screening system alert of an elevated temperature. So which temperature screening technology can help keep you safe? We're going to go a little further into the technology and some of the benefits and limitations of non-contact handheld thermometers, crowd or multi-person scanning thermal imagers, and finally single-person non-contact thermal imagers. Handheld thermometers. They're quite attractive, typically low cost, maybe less than £40, and they're apparently easy to use. However, what's not often considered in this is the high cost of ownership, the cost of wages for somebody to carry out the procedure. They often have very poor accuracy, often no better than plus or minus 2 degrees centigrade, at which point you're in danger of false positives and false negatives, i.e. somebody clearly with a temperature having a normal reading, or potentially somebody with a non-elevated temperature being flagged because the equipment is not accurate. And then finally, you're instigating a risk mitigation step that violates another. To carry out this type of reading, you're violating social distancing guidance, dramatically increasing the chance that the person carrying out the reading could become infected and subsequently pass it on to everybody else that they're screening. So therefore, in terms of risk mitigation, handheld thermometers are strongly not recommended. Just before we go into crowd and multi-person scanning, a little bit of science behind the measurement of temperature using infrared technology. Infrared is a form of electromagnetic radiation that's present. It's emitted from the sun on a regular basis. And part of this, without going too detailed into the science of this, what a thermal imager actually sees is the total of the reflection, any interference from the atmosphere, background infrared radiation, And as it says at the bottom of this slide, a thermal imager detects the sum of all radiation within its spectral range. This is critical when trying to understand and measure human body temperature, where there's not a great deal of infrared radiation emitted by the body, and the difference in energy between that and background ambient temperatures can be quite low. So the potential for hot objects, a radiator, a coffee cup, a light bulb affecting the reading and showing a false elevated reading can be quite high. So all this needs to be considered when looking at solution. Just delving into the technology of thermal images a little more, there are typically two types, non-radiometric and radiometric. Non-radiometric, the image on the left, shows relative temperatures. In this image, the hotter area is shown glowing white, falling through the spectrum of yellows and oranges to the colder parts of the image, which are purple. Whilst it's very good at showing a relative temperature, the accuracy of this type of imager is insufficient to give a specific temperature. So for instance, could you say that the area that is white is 1000 degrees centigrade, not with any level of accuracy, just a relative temperature difference from the rest of the image. The image on the right is a radiometric thermal imager. Within this image, every pixel within the image is calibrated to a specific accuracy where temperature can be derived from it. So here, each of the colours within the palette that's offered here is specifically related to a temperature within a specific accuracy of which these are calibrated at our ISO facility. So this is a little bit more of the science behind thermal imaging, making sure that the technology you're selecting is suitable for the purpose at hand. In addition, we've talked about the low amounts of infrared radiation emitted by a typical human, and therefore getting a good, reliable measurement can be very difficult. When we originally looked to tackle this issue with the outbreak of the SARS epidemic back in the early 2000s, we realised that what was required was the addition of a black body. Now, a black body is a precision engineered heat source that maintains a very tight temperature tolerance. What we've been able to do is incorporate that with the thermal imager so that you've got a feedback loop of a known temperature source where you're measuring the person in close proximity, and through that, by developing a reliable algorithm, the black body is able to account for slight variations in ambient and assure that those readings are as accurate and reliable in the real world. Indeed, that's why this protocol and this technology has been adopted as best guidance through organisations such as the FDA in the United States. So moving on to the question at hand, is multi-person and crowd scanning thermal images suitable for the purpose? After the initial high purchase cost, which can be quite considerable, £15,000–20,000 perhaps, the cost of ownership is relatively low. Apart from a calibration check once a year, the running cost should be relatively low. It's also automated and maintains social distancing, which is much better than a handheld device where you're potentially increasing infection risks. However, the accuracy can be very questionable. If the black body is not being integrated, the accuracy of that reading is very difficult. The closer you are to a thermal imager, the warmer that you can seem. So trying to take a measurement accurately of a person moving across the field of view without a black body being integrated is very, very difficult. And the accuracy can be no better than the handheld thermometers, plus or minus 2 degrees, at which point it's questionable whether the system's giving you anything other than a false sense of security, or possibly a headache, because you get false positives and negatives with people with an elevated temperature passing the test, and potentially others that maybe don't have an elevated temperature flagging an alert. Also, some of the systems incorporate facial recognition, dependent on the supplier and where that server technology and cloud technology is hosted. It could create certain privacy issues and be a real concern in terms of managing that and keeping the data within your control. Finally, moving on, the Viral Alert 3 temperature screening system has been designed in terms of best practice. This is a single person measurement, rapid, quick measurement, but employing all the best practice and science from our expertise to ensure that you get that reliability of result. It's got a low cost of ownership after the purchase, which is much lower than the multi-person and crowd scanning systems. It's automated, so social distancing can be maintained, and it's got an integrated black body, all incorporated within the one system. So mounting, setup, and the algorithm, very easy, very simple, ready to go. Uses face detection. This is not face recognition, it's detection. The purpose for this is that we can ensure that we're actually measuring a face. So the face detection prevents false error readings. So should somebody be walking into work with a hot coffee in the morning, in some systems without face detection, the system will measure the hottest object in the scene. If it's a coffee cup, obviously that will potentially flag an alarm. Face detection means that our system is automated and also gives you that error checking facility. It's a year-round solution. As we change from winter through spring, summer and autumn, the ambient temperatures change, and so does the surface skin temperature. To manage this and prevent false negatives during winter, where skin temperature may drop considerably, the Viral Alert 3 has a new seasonal trending function. This uses a rolling mean average of the last 10 readings taken during a similar period on previous days, and it gives two levels of alarm. One, the specified elevated temperature reading, typically 38 degrees or 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, but also an alert if there's an out of trend. So what you typically find during the winter months is as people are entering a facility, they're typically a lot colder, their surface skin temperature has dropped, and the seasonal trending function can account for this and warn you if there's somebody out of trend. So a critical new feature that again pushes best practice and continues our innovation to look at the challenges and reality of measuring temperature meaningfully, so that it really is a really robust mitigation method to add to the hands, space and face message. The system is suitable for a wide variety of applications. We have installations from healthcare, hospitals and doctors' surgeries through to care homes. Through to commercial premises, the high throughput is ideal for maintaining footfall. Offices and manufacturing, similar to our own facilities in Drumfield. And through to education, we've had great success at a number of schools, both here and through the US. And transportation hubs, we have a system down at Poole Port, which has been keeping people safe, both ferry passengers, cruise passengers and commercial haulage. And now indeed the centre has been turned into a vaccine centre, and again that's helping keep the operatives safe there and people coming for the vaccine to give that increased level of resilience and resistance to the virus. Through to sports and leisure applications, there's one of our systems installed up at the Headingley Sports facility, world famous for rugby and cricket, as well as a number of other applications from gyms and sports clubs throughout the UK and the US. If you're interested in a little further reading, I'd encourage you to visit the website. I'll provide details for that a little further on in the presentation. There's a wealth of information along with case studies. Here we have case studies. Motorsport, Wayne Taylor Racing in the US has successfully used a system to keep the guys safe during the season. Along with case studies, as I mentioned, a local medical practice and sports clubs, which give a flavour of the benefits that these customers have been able to derive from the equipment, and also a little further information on how they've managed to install and incorporate this into their screening process. So just to wrap up some of the key points around the viral alert temperature screening system, it's got an accurate real-time blackbody calibration feature, all incorporated in one easy to mount unit. It's got a new seasonal temperature variation feature combined with face detection to automate the system and make it error proof. It most importantly maintains that social distancing. You're not implementing one mitigation method at the expense of another. It enables quick readings so that you can get high volume of footfall through. The software is intuitive and easy to use. I'm going to take you through a little example of the software in action so that you can see it. Very intuitive, green for go, red for alert. And it can be incorporated easily into door access and time and attendance systems. And it's also compliant with NDAA and FDA guidance. This is a little bit of footage from one of the actual units. This is our reception of our manufacturing facility in Drumfield. So as you'll see, as the user walks up, the little yellow box detects a face and takes a reading. Yellow indicates the system's taking the reading. Green indicates that the temperature taken is within parameters and there is no alert. We've simulated a high temperature reading so that you'll see a red reading in just a moment after another few users have come through. And what we're looking at here is essentially what the user sees walking up to it. So this system's mounted on top of a TV in our reception. It's all automated. It gives that additional protection and assurance to the staff. Some of our staff have been required to be on site all through the pandemic. And this has assured that we've been able to prevent any cases of elevated temperature and potential infection. And indeed, we have these installed through AMETEK facilities worldwide. And we've been able to confirm that a number of elevated temperature detections, as you've just seen there, the screen flag's red, have subsequently been shown to be COVID infections. So we know that the system has paid for itself and helped us all have that continuity of operation. So as well as the traffic light system, the green and the red, the text you will have noticed on the bottom left hand of the screen changes, and that can be customized to suit. So should you have a red alert reading, and if it's an unmanned reception, you can then provide instructions on the screen, an extension telephone number to contact. And indeed the system can be automated with email alerts, as well as an audible alert at the system. It can send an automated email, which is a screenshot, time and date stamped to a suitable contact so that that person can be managed as part of the overall process and protocol. This slide shows the variety of different types of system setup. The system shown here on top of the various different illustrations is the combined thermal imager and visual camera along with black body. This can be mounted easily above a TV stand to give a very large screen and make it very immediate as somebody's walking into a reception, or for something that is required to be a little bit more portable. It can be mounted and run on a Microsoft Surface Go tablet with a tripod to give ultimate portability, or somewhere in between with a laptop and various clamps and accessory and mounting options to make setup very easy and straightforward. The software we maintain to iterate and improve and maintain is free of charge. And also moving on to integration. So a lot of users have wanted to combine this system with external alarms, door access, time and attendance systems, so that a door access card won't open the card for an elevated reading. The system's ideal for integration via a couple of different methods. It can either be hardwired into the system via an in and out manager, or we have an API for software integration should that be required as well. So just wrapping up on the key points, face detection, it eliminates those false readings and automates the system. It's privacy safe, all the data is stored on the local laptop, there is no need for cloud access, so your existing privacy protocols are good to go. It's quick and simple, green for go, red for alert, with readings in less than 2 seconds so that you can get high throughput. That's backed up with the text on the screen, should you have any users that may be colourblind, so that you're coming from both sides to make sure that you cover that. And it's reliable year round with the seasonal trending feature. That means that the system's as reliable through winter, spring, summer and autumn, so you've got a system that's good for 12 months of the year. It's a simple interface, customizable screen messages. As we touched on, you can automate email alerts. It gives a reading, photo, time and date stamp. So it's clear that anybody whose responsibility that may be looking after an unmanned reception knows exactly who's flagged the reading and who they need to assist and help further. So just wrapping that up, the ViroAlert 3 is safe, it's non-intrusive, it's accurate, it minimises the chances of false positives and negatives. It's fast, enables high throughput, and can be incorporated into your standard processors. Should you be interested in further information, we have a wealth of material on our website, Land ViroAlert, and if you click on any of these videos, there should be links to take you straight through. It covers information that we've touched on in a little bit more depth regarding handheld contact thermometers for temperature screening, why accuracy is important, and also whether single person or crowd screening are recommended to get accurate and reliable results. So I'd urge you to have a look at those videos. They run for about 3 minutes, but contain a lot of information and will help you in terms of knowledge to make discerning decisions when you are looking at temperature screening technology. Thanks very much for your time. If you have any questions, please get in touch. My email, mobile number are shown below. As I said, there's a wealth of information at landviralert.com. Please visit. There's a lot of information that I'm sure you'll find useful. And if you've got any further questions, I'd be happy to help. Thank you.